Yo guys, what's up? So today I have a new Football Manager 2015 video for you. Pretty excited for 2016. A bunch of the recent updates and features just came out of FM 2016, and I'm definitely going to be buying it, so that's exciting. However, this video is just going to be a small guide on youth regens in FM 2015. Now, there probably are a bunch of videos out there already on finding youth regens from different clubs, but I'm going to show you guys how I personally find youth regens. Now, what I mean by youth regens are, basically, every year your club gets an intake of youth players. And these players are usually 14 to 15 years old, and usually one or two of them will be pretty decent. In this case, I got this guy, Christopher Schmidt, who 14 years old, potential to be a quality player. He's got some very good stats already for being only 14, so I'll definitely develop him very well. Also some other decent players, but usually the rest of them aren't that good. So in your youth intake, you're probably expecting 3-4 good players, depending on your club. Now, I'm Wolfsburg. I've done very well with the club. I've upgraded the youth facilities. I've done a lot. We have a huge transfer budget. So obviously the youth intake players are going to be pretty good. Now, what I mean by what I'm going to be doing is investing in other clubs' youth players. I'm going to be trying to steal their youth regens from them, depending on how good I think they could be. And what I mean by this is I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some of the regens I've picked out. So this guy, Juan, worth $34.5 million, only 22 years old. His attributes went down a little bit, but because he had a suspension recently. And what I mean by that, by taking him from another club, is actually in 2001, in the 21-22 season, I bought him for $2.6 million from Celta. So he had just regened in the game to Celta in the Liga BBVA. And what I did was I decided to buy him from them since I thought he had potential to be a decent player. So I bought him for $2.6 million. I brought him through my youth system. 3-4 years later, he's playing in the first team, and now he's worth $34.5 million. So I made a huge profit off this guy, and if I wanted to, I could sell him right now since he apparently isn't going to get any better. But that's just one example of taking another youth player from a team, or a youth regen from another team, and developing through your youth system, and then either him being a quality player for your team, or you could sell him for big profit. I mean, you could do either. Another guy is this one. Check out this guy, 21 years old, worth $38 million, incredible striker. Bought him 5 years ago about for $5.25 million from Newell's Old Boys, then loaned him out and then brought him back, and 2 years later he's in the first team, bagging goals just like crazy. So that's just another example of these youth guys that I enjoy buying at a young age, and that's it. So I'm going to show you guys one more on my team, this guy right here, Sergio Godoy, worth 40. I mean, check out those stats, 26 years old, worth 41 million. Incredible player. I bought him for $6.5 million from Olympia back when I was looking through all the leagues, including the ones in the Americas and then Europe and all the way. But I mean, a huge profit off this guy, and he's been an incredible player the past few years. So that's what I mean by looking for these players who are young at different clubs, and you decide to invest in them, bring them to your club. Now, these could not always work out. For example, I'll show you guys some of the ones that haven't really worked out. If we go to my transfer history, back when I first started, I made some interesting purchases, I guess. What else do I have? Like this guy right here. I mean, he's now 28 years old. I bought him when he was a bit younger, but he developed into an okay player, but nothing that special. I sold him for a bit of a profit still, but not every player you buy is going to turn out to be a superstar. But here's what I do to find these youth players. Now, every country has a different youth intake day. So today is March 6th, and today Germany had their youth intake day. However, every year the youth intake day changes. So Germany could have their youth intake day two weeks before March 6th or 2 weeks after March 6th. It really varies for each country. So, for example, in the Americas, they have their youth intake day like at the end of August. But the countries in Europe sometimes have it from February to March usually. I'm going to leave a link below to the different youth intake days of different countries, which will help you guys if you really want to get into buying these young players and developing them through the clubs, or through your youth system basically. So to find these youth players, which you probably came here for, we're going to go ahead and click on the World option up here, and then we're going to click on World, and it's going to bring you to the World homepage. We're going to click on Transfers, and then we're going to go to Youth Intake. So you guys see all these things here. You want to go down to the bottom, click Youth Intake. So today is actually sort of funny. England actually had their youth intake day on the same day as Germany, which I don't think's ever happened to me before, but that's pretty funny. So what's going to happen for you guys if you go to this page? It probably will say it'll probably be on All Nations, and if you click All Nations, you can see every single youth regen that has come into the game this season. But in this case, we're just going to be looking through Germany. However, back 6-7 years ago when I was still a mediocre team, okay team, I looked through Spain, I looked through Holland on their intake days, I looked through England, I looked through Belgium, I looked through pretty much every country. Nowadays, I only look through Germany because I pretty much won everything with Wolfsburg, so I have a decent team already, and yeah, I don't really have much trouble winning nowadays, so I just focus on Germany since it's not as much effort. But if you're sort of a top tier club, maybe not at the top yet, and you have a bunch of money, I would definitely recommend looking through a lot of different countries' intake days and trying to find some of these incredible players. So we're just going to go ahead and keep Germany checked. And now this page will come up with all the regens that came in today in Germany's youth intake day. And clubs from all over Germany have had their youth intake days. Now obviously the ones I focus on are the Bundesliga clubs and a couple Division 2 clubs that are decent. Certain clubs have better intake days than others. You guys can look online for the really good youth systems of the clubs, but I mainly focus on the Bundesliga. And another thing is that the top tier clubs, Bayern, Schalke, Dortmund, Leverkusen, they have very good youth intakes. However, these youth intakes usually don't like leaving the big clubs. If you're at FC Bayern as a youth player, you usually don't want to leave that club. So these players could be incredible. However, they probably won't reply to your offer because they want to stay at a big club like Bayern or Schalke or Dortmund. So, for example, this guy, I would usually try to invest in this guy. However, since he's at Bayern, I'm not even going to try because I know he's not going to leave Bayern. The clubs I look at are usually the mid-tier table clubs or the lower-tier table clubs, since it's more likely that the youth players will come to your club at a younger age. So what I'm going to do is, you guys can see, each player has a little check mark next to his name. If you just click on that check mark, it's going to bring up his attributes and his value and his age. Now what I look at is his attributes and his value. If I see he has good attributes or a very high value, I want to go ahead and get a scout report on him. Now you guys can assign a certain scout to this player if you want. I just get a scout report right away since I'm confident in all my scouts, I guess. But yeah, so this guy, Simon Seidel, we can see that he has very good stats for a 15-year-old. He's worth 325,000. He's at Gladbach, and I'm confident that I could potentially snag him up from Gladbach. So what I'm going to do is right-click on him, scout report. Oh, I'm already scouting him. That's awkward. And yeah, so actually Seidel is sort of funny because I actually have a guy in my squad called Seidel. There he is, Lee Seidel. Check out this guy. This is probably the best player I've ever had in the game. 20 years old. Just look at the stats. That's absolutely insane. I bought him from München. Actually for 13.5 million, but it was definitely a good purchase. He's worth 51 million now, 20 years old. That's just insane. But yeah, these are the sort of players you're going to be finding, even if they're a bit older. But obviously they're not going to be worth 13.5 million at this age. You're going to snag them up for usually under 2 million. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and keep looking through these players, looking at their stats, looking at their value. Usually I focus on the value. If I see that they're over like 300,000 or 200,000, then I go ahead and get the scout report. So I'm already scouting that guy. But yeah, what we're going to do is go ahead and look through these clubs. I'll usually go until I get to around mid-tier second division clubs, and after that I'll stop. So I'm going to go ahead and search through some of these players and then show you guys what I do next. I just want to quickly show you some players, like the quality players you can find when looking through these youth players from the different clubs. This guy right here, Antonio Lopez, regen at Hertha. For a right attacking midfielder, those stats, great dribbling, great first touch, those are things you want to look for. This guy looks insane already, so he's definitely someone I'd be looking to invest in. So these are the sort of players you want to be looking for. Okay guys, so I've went ahead and done about 15 to 20 scout reports on different players who I thought might be good in the future. So what now I'm going to do is go ahead and hit continue. So I'm going to go ahead and go forward one day, or just a bit in the future. And we're going to go ahead, and after this game, we're going to get some scout reports. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I got all the scout reports back from the players that I scouted. And now what's going to happen is I'm going to go ahead and check out their current and potential ability. So obviously not all the players are going to be great, the ones that you scouted. They may have looked good, but maybe your scouts don't think they're going to be that good. Now, it really isn't your scout's decision to purchase these players. If you firmly believe this player is going to be good in the future, then you should go ahead and invest in him. But at the end of the day, not everybody you scout is going to be incredible. I usually go for the players who are 3.5 stars or better in their potential ability. So this guy, I'm going to go ahead and approach to assign him. Here's usually what happens. the person's agent or the client's agent will say, my client isn't currently interested in entering contract negotiations with your club. Elman has only just joined his new club. So we're going to try to persuade him. We're going to, I guess, passionately say, I can envision you having a great career here. But he's usually going to say something like, I'm content here. It'll take a significant offer. So I'm going to go ahead and say, I'd love to have you to win a trophy or two. But he says, sorry, I'm just not interested in joining. This will happen occasionally with especially players who are at better clubs. So this guy was a fail. We can't really get him. We're going to go ahead and look through these other players. This guy looks very good, Sasha Brecha. We're going to go ahead and approach to sign him. And this guy is very interested in some contract negotiations. However, look, this guy wants $750,000 a year already. But definitely something I'd be worth playing I'd be worth paying since I have decent finances and he looks to be an incredible player in the future. So this guy would look good. So we're going to go ahead and try to find somebody cheaper. Okay, this guy, Basso Bagaga. He looks like a very decent attacking midfielder. We're going to go ahead and approach to sign him. Oh, he's not interested. Let's keep trying. I can envision you. Okay, he's just not interested. Okay, he's not interested. What a shame. All right, we're going to keep looking. Okay, so this guy right here, Karsten Meyer. I mean, 4.5-star potential abilities. Definitely somebody I'd want to invest in. We're going to try to sign him. This is something I'd be willing to pay, so I'm just going to go ahead and just lower his things down a little bit. Unused sub fee we're going to take away. And then I'll leave this up since he probably won't be playing in the first team for a while. So bring down his yearly salary raise, stuff like that. Usually he'll sign on. We'll just have to take away this again. We're going to go one down. Just play with him a little bit, but you know what? So there we go. He accepted it. We're going to go ahead and finalize the deal and exit the talks. And just like that, we have put an offer for this guy. So this guy, the Antonio Lopez, for example, the scouts are saying this isn't a worthwhile signing. However, I think he's an incredible signing since I don't really know if they look for current ability or potential ability, but it's something I really want to invest in, and he wants to sign. So we're going to go ahead and bring this down and, yeah, do the same thing we did last time. There we go. He accepted, and we're Gucci. So welcome. All right, so we're going to keep looking. Another Peter Doll. Looks like a good player. Again, I just look for potential. I'm going to invest in him. Oh, he's not interested. You're happy? Are you sure, man? Are you sure? Dang. All right. Sorry, Doll. You're missing out, man. You're missing out. Defensive mid here. We're just going to do the same thing for the rest of these players. He's not interested as well. Okay. It's a shame. So after this whole, like, you can see there's some other good players. Not really worth investing in. We'll try to get this guy here too. No, he's not interested. I guess Freiburg is good for these young players. But usually after these players, after I've tried to invest in these players, I go ahead back to the Worlds page, to the youth intake page, and then I keep looking for more players in Germany, or we'll go ahead and go to a different country. So obviously it's going to be a bit different depending on the club that you're currently managing. If you're, a second-tier club, you want to be looking to loan out potentially some of these players at bigger clubs, the younger players who might have an impact, or even invest in players from lower leagues who you think could be good in your league. It really comes down to, again, what club you're managing, your finances and stuff like that. But basically, to put it simply, just go to the youth intake page, look through different clubs of the different countries, and try to find players who are young that you think would develop very well at your club. Yeah, so that's it, guys. That's how I look for my intakes, or my youth players, just on these intake days. Very important. If you're looking to better your club financially and player-wise, this is definitely something you should be doing. It's very good. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Sorry for the long video, but I thought this is worth looking into, stuff that might help you improve your football manager game. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure to drop a like and a subscription, and make sure to leave suggestions for a potential experiment or video you guys might want to see on Football Manager. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you for the next video. Peace.